Hello, I'm Mr. Chu. This is Bear Algebra. I like to wear a tie whenever I'm doing my Bear Algebra videos, so you may check out and see what tie I'm wearing whenever you watch the next video. So we're going to talk about solving systems of equations when you're using elimination and then subtraction is the easiest method. So I have two equations here. The two equations make up a system of equations. If I were to graph both equations on the same coordinate grid, if they intersect in one point, that one point would be the solution. But you don't have to graph them. You can use algebra and not geometry to solve them by elimination. Elimination means that you're going to add down or subtract down and eliminate something. So when you look at example 1, see how I've got the exact same y coordinates, 2y? The coefficients are the same, the variables are the same. So if I add down, like we did in our addition video that I did earlier and posted on my YouTube channel, you're not going to get a 0 here. It's not going to be eliminated. But what happens if I subtract the second one from the first one? Well, 2y minus 2y is 0 and eliminated. And that is the method you're going to use for this. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to subtract the second one from the first one. But that's not the easiest way to do it, because students will struggle when they say 5x minus 9x. Then they won't say 2y minus 2y, and they maybe won't say 6 minus 22. So when I subtract these, I want to rewrite the top one and then rewrite the second one as a subtraction. So it's minus 9x and it's minus 2y and it's minus 22, which becomes a negative 22. All right. Now when we add down, just like we did in our earlier video, this term is going to be 0 because 2y minus 2y is 0, which is what I want. So 5x minus 9x is negative 4x, and that equals 6 minus 22 is negative 16. If you struggle with subtracting integers, use a calculator or check out one of my videos on my YouTube channel in tray arithmetic to review that. All right, so now that I have my negative 4x equals a negative 16, I want to do an inverse operation so that I only have x. So what I do is I rewrite that equation and I say, what do I do here? I divide by negative 4 because that is a division property of equality that will get rid of my negative 4 out of my negative 4x. Well, negative 4 over negative 4 is 1, and 1 times x is x. Negative 16 divided by negative 4 is 4. So I believe that my solution's x-coordinate is 4. So up here, I'm going to write solution. I'm just going to put a line here because everything to the left will be example 1, to the right will be example 2. And I believe that my solution is the point for something. But I don't know what the other is. So how do I find it? So to find y, the y coordinate, what am I going to do? I'm going to take either one of the equations and substitute this in for my x value. So let's just take the top one. It doesn't matter which one you use. But I'm going to put a 4 in there for the x plus 2y equals 6. Now I solve this. So 20 plus 2y equals 6. I subtract 20 from both sides using the subtraction property of equality. And I have 2y equals negative 14. I divide by 2. And I get y equals -7. Now what does that mean? That means I believe my y coordinate is -7 and my x coordinate is 4. So the point is 4, -7. So later on I'll have videos where we graph these and show you that really is the case. But how do I check this now? So to check this, here's my check over here. And I always need to check it. To check this, I have to substitute 4, -7 into both of them. So let's use the top one first. So it's 5 times, instead of x, I put a 4. And plus 2, instead of the y, I'm going to put a -7. And then we're saying, does that equal 6? Now we just have to solve it to verify it. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times -7 is -14. Some of you can tell me right now this is true. Well, now you should be able to tell me it's true. What does that mean? That means that the coordinate 4, -7 will fall on the graph of this line. Now, if I check it in the second one now, and it's true, that means it is the solution. All right, so now let's take the second one, and I'll write 9 times 4 plus 2 times -7. Does that equal 22? So 9 times 4 plus 2 times -7. Does that equal 22? And if it's true and it solves and it's equal on both sides, it means that is my solution. 9 times 4 is 36 plus -14. Does that equal 22? If you don't know, then keep going. Use a calculator or do it on paper. 22 does equal 22. Since it checks in both of them, it means that's the solution to that equation. All right. Now in example 2, a little bit harder. Why is it a little bit harder? Because it has decimals. Use a calculator. Most tests will allow you to use a calculator. If not, then do it longhand. I have lots of videos on tray arithmetic to help students. All right, so what are we going to do here? Remember what we did over here? We're going to rewrite one of them so that when you subtract, one of the variables will be eliminated. That's what elimination means. Well, since I've got an 8.5x on both of them, I'm going to rewrite this. So I rewrite the top one just like it is. But I'm going to subtract everything on the bottom. So since I'm going to subtract everything, let's rewrite it like I'm subtracting an 8.5x. Let's write this like I'm subtracting a 7.5y. And like I'm subtracting, which makes it negative, 299.5. Well, this worked out well. Why? Because whenever I take 8.5x minus 8.5x, that's 0, and it eliminated, which is what I want. So 15y minus 7.5y is 7.5y, and that equals, and now is when I want you to make sure that you get used to doing this whenever you're doing work, and you're allowed to use a calculator. 412 minus 299.5. And that equals 112.5. Okay, so now what do we have to do? We now have to solve this one-step equation and find out what my y coordinate is. So to find out my y coordinate, I do the inverse or opposite of multiplying by 7.5, and that is divide by 7.5. So I'm going to take and rewrite my whole equation. I'm going to divide the left and the right using the division property of equality. So 7.5 over 7.5 is 1. 1 times y is y. And what's 112.5 divided by 7.5? I don't know. But my calculator will sure tell me 112.5 times, or divided by, sorry. 112.5 divided by 7.5 equals 15. So what does that mean? That means that I believe that my solution is the coordinate, which is going to be my x and my y. My y is going to be 15. But what's my x? I don't know. Well, what do I do to find it? You substitute it in either one. Which one? It doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to take these subtraction parentheses off because I want to be able to see my original equation up here. So, I'm going to take my first equation and write 8.5x. I'm going to put a plus sign. 15 times my y. And we're saying that that equals 412. Now, when I solve this, I should be able to find my value of x. 15 times 15 is 225. You can check me out, but it is 412. Now, I do the subtraction property of equality to subtract a 225 from both sides. Now, again, I never claimed to be a computer, so I'm going to use a computer to find out what this is. So 412 minus 225 equals 187. So I have 187 equals 8.5x. I just want 1x. So I use a division property of equality. Divide by 8.5. So x is going to equal what? Well, I don't know. I'm going to let my calculator tell me. 187 divided by 8.5 equals 22. So I believe that my x is 22. So I believe that if I graph this equation and then graph this equation on the same coordinate grid, they will intersect at the point 2215. Well, that's not easy to do unless you are a very good grapher on graph paper or you use a special program to do it. Sometime I'll do a video about that special program. But now we're doing it on paper. So I need to check and make sure it really does work. So the way I check to see that it really does work, I'm going to substitute my x value of 22, my y value of 15 into the top equation and then the bottom equation. So I've got 8.5 times 22 plus 15 times 15, and I'm saying that equals 412. I don't know if that's true, but my calculator is going to help me. So I take my 8.5 times my 22, and that gives me 187. And I know that this is 225, and I'm saying, does that equal 412? Well, I've got my 187 already in here, plus 225 equals 412. So when I have an equation that just checked out, that check mark means that I know that the point 2215 lies on the graph of the first equation. Now I've got to do the second equation. So I have 8.5, I'm doing this equation right here now. Instead of an x, I'm going to put a 22. Instead of a y, I'm going to put a 15. I know I'm getting close to the edge over there. I'll write it down so you can see it now. I got my 8.5 times my 22. That equals 187. Already had it up here. Plus my 7.5 times 15 gives me 112.5. And I'm saying, does that equal 299.5? So now I've already got my 112.5 in my calculator. That's what's good about using a TI. Plus 187 is 299.5 equals 299.5. Check, and what does that mean? That means that this point is on this line. We already know it's on this line, which means that that is where the two intersect. So later on, we'll graph both of them. And graphing both of them, right here would be the point 2215. Okay? So that is the way you use elimination and subtraction to solve a system of equations. So I'm going to give you a couple challenge problems. And with these challenge problems, I want you to pause this video, work these challenge problems out on a separate piece of paper, and then start the video back up. When you start the video back up, you're going to be able to check and see if you did them correctly or not. If you didn't, go back and click on my video and you will see them worked out step by step. So here are your challenge problems. I've got them on a whole nother little whiteboard so you don't have to wait on me. Challenge 1, use elimination and subtraction to find the answer. If you notice, these are the same, so I know when I subtract them, this is going to go away. Solve for x, y, and then check them both. Challenge 2, got 2x plus 1.5y equals 3, and 1.5x plus 1.5y equals 3.5. You notice how I've got the same 1.5y? So when you subtract, the y's will cancel out. Try both of these. Pause this video right here, right now. Write these down on a piece of paper. Try them. See if you can do them now on your own. Then after you are happy with your solutions, click on the link when you start this video back up, which will be up here, and it will show you these two problems worked out step by step. Down here will be a link to other Bear algebra problems. I'm Mr. Chew. Make sure you subscribe down here to my YouTube channel. I want to help you learn algebra with Bear helping out once in a while. Let me teach you about math. I'll see you next time in the next video.